Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to Busting Rainbow Six Siege. Today we are myth busting Ram. And to be honest, I think she is probably one doing the busting considering how much destruction she brings. Now first, a couple of updates on this operator. So it's been confirmed that within less than a week of the test server being up, she's going to go down from 4 drones to 3, and she's also getting a loadout change. She's going to lose the secondary hard breach, replaced with smoke grenades. Now let's jump into the testing. First up is, can Ram defeat ARUNI's lasers? And I feel like ARUNI has got a lot weaker this year, and Ram is here to make it worse as we just effortlessly throw that through the lasers and pick it right back up as if nothing happened. So yeah, you can throw it through or you can go ahead and drive it into lasers as well. It's an incredibly strong counter. Now with Brava being introduced this year as well, I feel like ARUNI has really got a lot weaker and can easily become a liability for the defender team. So very unfortunate, but that is confirmed. Now I wanted to see if AZAMI could counter Ram. So of course, she's got a BARBWIREs which do take out gadgets. So I wanted to try and see if we could actually take out a drone using them because they expand out. So we would be able to actually hit the drone. And that seemed to indicate yes. So we tried again. And I was able to take the drone out. Now, I don't think this is the best counter for her, but considering Ram has so little amounts of counters, I think AZAMI here actually might be really useful for wiping out these drones before they get in. Of course, pre-placed barriers will just get wiped out no problem, and AZAMI also has impact grenades. So I would say this is confirmed, and I would also go as far to say that I think AZAMI might actually be the best counter against Ram for defenders entirely. Barbed wire versus Ram. So we're actually going to get a 2 for here. We'll test barbed wire and we'll also test electrified surfaces. So these barbed wires are of course electrified by bandits batteries, and you'll see this drone has no problem with it. Now I think in reality barbed wire would get pulled into the wheels, the tracks, and would totally stop this thing from moving. So I believe that this should be changed. I think that barbed wire should actually be a hard counter for this drone because reality wise it would get jammed up in the machinery and stop the drone from moving forward. But of course Siege is very light on reality, so what I would say here is that barbed wire is very weak right now, and I do think this should just be a hard counter, and another secondary gadget, the impact grenade, does take it out outright, so why not barbed wire? Can Ram counter castle barricades? So to be honest, I was just gobsmacked by the fact that this thing could just punch right through castle barricades, because it doesn't look like it hits the castle with any real force, and those blades aren't going to like actually cut through and wreck the entire castle. But certainly the reality is that they go through the castle barricade like hot knife through butter. Now on the windows it's a little bit more complicated because the drone just wants to bounce off the castle and drop to the ground. But if you put it on just the windowsill, it'll sit there perfectly fine, and you can then drive it through. I think this thing should fall down because what freaking balancing point is this sitting up on that ledge on? Now you might think, hey, I can be a very smart castle and I can actually castle it from the outside, and that way there's no ledge to balance the drone on. But actually the castle barricade comes down low enough that one of these drones at ground level will bust it open. So certainly it is confirmed Ram counters castle. Now let's talk poor old Clash. Of course, never doing particularly good in the old balancing graphs, and this operator is not going to make her day any better. Now thankfully this thing comes at her slowly, but if she's trying to hold down a point or something like that, it's not going to go well for her. It's not going to go well. It actually causes basically a melee hit when your drone interacts with the shield operator. So yeah, that's bad, and that is confirmed that Ram counters Clash. Now let's bring some fire into the mix and see if GOYO is able to counter Clash. We're going to do a couple of different things here. So we're going to have the drone just run into a bunch of these containers, but we're also going to have GOYO actually shoot the final one as well to see if anything different happens. Maybe there's a little bit of AoE damage from the canister or something like that to see if it can destroy the drone. Also, this is the first drone we've ever had in the game that actually uses a combustion engine. So I don't know how well they would work in the middle of fire. So I'm curious if maybe this thing might simply just overheat and stop working, because fire at the moment does pretty much nothing to gadgets. However, the drone completely shrugged off everything here and As you can see, it got all the way down to the final one, which GOYO set off himself, and he sacrificed himself, but unfortunately, it is busted. GOYO does not counter the new operator. Now technically, Ram's drone is airborne and a projectile for a second due to Ram's guns. So will Jaeger's ADS actually take it out mid-air? I'd imagine that the ADS at least has the capability of piercing the outside and doing some serious damage to the machinery within, but it is busted. It does nothing to this gadget. KAPKAN versus RAM. So I actually would love, because this thing's so freaking big, it just to set off the KAPKAN traps and cause the drone to actually be destroyed. But here is what happens. So we've got obviously 2 on the left here up high, 1 on the right down low. You can see there it easily takes out that down low KAPKAN trap. However, we will do the test again where we run the drone right past the other 2 traps but closer to them to see how high up the gadget is actually able to reach with its destruction. Now you'll see that it's easily able to take that gadget out, even though it doesn't physically touch it. And as far as I can tell, there's nothing on this drone that is vertical destruction. Like, it doesn't have anything spinning on the top of it or anything like that. So it doesn't quite make sense that it's able to take out a KAPKAN that high up, I think. But it's a really good demonstration of this drone's vertical damage. So does Maestro counter RAM? He has a laser, so if he can actually see the red canister on the back, he can take it out. But if we do have it placed on, say, the ground here, and we drive our drone right up to it, we're going to be able to take it out without being contested. So we're going to have to be thinking smart here with Maestro, placing them in positions where we can take out the drone as it enters an objective room or a window, stuff like that. And keep our turrets off the ground by at least, I would say, a couple of meters. That way you can avoid being destroyed. And as far as I could tell, I couldn't get the drone to balance on the Maestro turret. It might be possible, but it's such a pain in the ass that even if you could do it during a combat phase, I don't think RAM will be stopping to do that. So yeah, I think this is the confirmed and well-placed Maestro turret can counter these brand new drones. Now let's move on to something brutal. So the drone does physical damage, not much though, so it's unlikely to actually take down an operator. However, if you happen to knock an operator and then use the drone against them, it does do enough damage to take them out. And it's brutal. With this example here, it actually drags Rook along the ground. And I expect to see many clips like this when the season launches, because I think a lot of people will definitely be taking injured players out with these drones. And that is confirmed. Now that's it for part 1 of Mythbusting RAM. Part 2 is already out, so go check it out right now. And like, subscribe, and comment if you're enjoying this kind of stuff, as of course that will help me. Thanks very much for watching, I'll catch you next time.